Still on the matter on the concept of this Flexbox model, let me first at this point take this time out to commend you all for participating in the Flexbox challenge at flexboxfroggy.com. And kudos to everyone who conquered all 24 levels of this challenge, thus achieving 100% in that regard. Nice one, guys. It's time at this point to get more real about this Flexbox concept. I mean, how do we get to apply it in a real live website? How do we get to use the Flexbox model and its stunts and features to lay out content on our web page for better user interaction when someone is browsing our websites? You know what? It's time to talk less and code more. Let's get coding, guys. Permit me for a start to take your attention to the folder in which I am storing my website files. Mine is located in my documents, and that's my web design folder right there. I'll double click on it, and I have just the index.html file, which is blank, the style.css, which is blank as well, and then there is a folder, just one folder for my images. So I already put in images I'll be using for this design inside the folder so that everything will be structured in the right way. Okay, all right, that's it. Over now to VS Code. Let's get this started. I'll click in here to locate my project folder. That's in web design folder you saw inside of my documents folder right now. If you click on it, you'll see those three items: the index.html, the style.css, and then the images folder that contains the images we're using for this demo website. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll click on index.html to open it up, and also right click and click open to the side for the CSS. In this instance, which is the standard practice for designing websites, our index.html file is separate from our style.css file. So everything about HTML will be going in here, while everything about the styling and design of our web page will be going in here. All right, you will see in our browser our web page is empty right now. No single markup, no single styling. Back to VS Code. Let's give our website a title. Let's call it Flexbox Application, because we'll be considering a real case instance of the Flexbox application. So that title we just keyed in reflects on the tab of the browser. From the get-go, you can see our browser is totally blank, empty, no single markup, no single design. Okay, all we have is just the title we keyed in, Flexbox Application, which is the title, which is what is found within the title tag right here. The next vital step to take before we start to key in HTML code in our body tag is to link the CSS and the HTML files together, and we'll do that using the link tag. The link tag goes inside the head tags right under the title tag. So we hit the enter key that takes us to the next line for us to impute the linking. So the linking is done using the link tag. The link tag has this href attribute that you've seen before. This same href attribute we use to link web pages or websites to one another. So inside the double quotes of the href attributes, we just key in the file name of our CSS file, which is style.css. Just like this, your CSS and your HTML are linked together. If you want to test run if it actually linked quite well, let's go and give it a try. Let's test run if they actually link together. We'll do that by styling the body elements, just giving a basic style to the body element. Right now on our web page, the body section is pure white. All right, let's change it to some other color. We'll go body, background color, light blue, That's the light blue color there. In case that is not clear enough for you, background color violet. That's the violet color right there. So this basic test shows that your HTML and your CSS are linked together, because whatever style you key in within the CSS file is reflecting. Okay. All right. The linking test has been performed. We can now remove this test code. And the other thing I want us to do is to collapse the head so that we can have more room for the body HTML code. Next up, at the very top of our style.css file, there is a preset that is necessary. It's a protocol we should always observe to have better control over the styling of our code. And the preset goes this way. We use the universal selector, which is represented by the asterisk, and we open the curly braces to put a preset protocol declaration, which is we want to set everything on the web page. We want everything on the web page to have, for a start, a margin property of 0, padding of 0, and a box sizing property of border box. Don't be bothered about what this means right now. Just have it in mind that this is a preset that is necessary to have better control over the styling on your website. By default, from the inception of your design, it's best to set the margin to 0, the padding to 0, and then the box sizing to border box. As you proceed down the line, whatever elements you choose to give a margin property in pixels would override this particular one you've done. You know what? Let me just take a second to show you real quick what happens if I don't initialize my web page with the presets. Now, the CSS file is blank, no presets, no asterisks, no declarations. Let's go over to our body tag and key in a section. This is a section. Let's come over here and style the section. The selector we use is the element name, which is section. Let's give it a height of 100 VH, 100 vertical height, and a background color of Dodger blue. Go over to our web page. That is it. This is our section with the background color of Dodger blue. Do you notice a white layer behind it? That is the body element. The body is white by default. To prove that to you, let's go over and style the body element. Bring this one down, and the body selector. Let's give the body a background color of lime. We'll go over to our browser. You see, that's the body we just gave a background color of lime. What this means is that the section is not flushing right to the edge of the browser, which is not good practice as a designer. And notice there's also a scroll bar. But see what happens if I introduce the preset that is very vital as a protocol to initiate your CSS file. Watch this scroll bar. Watch what happens when I introduce the presets. I go over to my CSS, and like I said, the presets should always be the topmost thing. Initialize it with an asterisk. Margin, set the margin to 0, set the padding to 0, and the box sizing to border box. Go over to your web page. The section element now flushes right to the edges of the browser, making it to overlap the body element completely. This is international best practice as a developer to imbibe in your code. Always make sure you initialize these presets with the universal selector of the asterisk by setting just 3 declarations: margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing to border box. I believe that is taken. Let's proceed. So that's it about the web design folder setup. Remember, in our web design folder we have 3 files: the index file, the style.css with our preset right now, and then the images folder that contains the images we intend to use for this project. All right, we'll be proceeding to the more exciting stuff on the next episode.